right. So today we are talking about sales versus engineering. Which one is more important, chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
And this podcast is largely inspired, if not completely inspired, by Paul Greene and his post recently on LinkedIn. If you guys want to go out and check it out, it's MSP Marketing Pros. He has a article called "You'll Struggle to Grow Your MSP When Your Main Daily Activity is Servicing Clients." And Skip and I talk about this every once in a while, where we say, "What's more important, sales or engineering?" So when you're running an MSP, there's that argument: is what you're doing more important than what you're selling?
Yeah.
Skip.
Well, and so, all right, here's a bit of a tangent, and we'll make a loop around and answer that. So this idea of multitasking, and that's another topic that we talked about. And I personally feel it's a bit of a fallacy. You can only unitask really quickly, but you have to focus on one. If you're in some of my calls when we work with our members and we do our coaching stuff, we always have a champion. And my saying on that is we have one throat to choke and one back to pat. You know,
The problem is the back never gets padded.
that's true. That's true. But it sounds good at least. But we've got to bring this around, and you have to have a priority. You can't prioritize everything. So, and this is maybe I drag my way into this answer because I do feel I am the engineer, but when it comes back to sales versus engineering, you have to be selling. You have to be pushing your organization. If you're just engineering, if you're just doing the technical work, you're going to wither and die.
Yeah, and I feel like even when I was back in my engineering days, I felt like, oh, if I just do my job better, things will resolve themselves. And that's great when you're just an engineer who doesn't have to worry about clients, but you still have to sell yourself. You still have to be, even in a corporate environment, you still have to say, you want to work with me. Here's why you want to work with me. Here's why you want to reach out to me. So when I was in the corporate environment, people avoided cybersecurity professionals like the plague because, oh my gosh, they're going to make me they're going to make me, lock my computer every time. So,
they're reading my email.
I sold us as a group I'd bring donuts in once a week to different departments and develop the relationships. And by doing that, I got better feedback from the departments, and I got more casual conversations about how I can make their lives a little easier while making them more secure. And I got used to that. And that's sales, people. That's selling yourself, not just doing your job. And as an engineer, if you don't have, you could be the best engineer in the world. If you don't have any computers to fix, it doesn't matter. I was just telling my son about this today. He's doing a lawn mowing business, and my younger son's a ball of charisma, and I'm like, you want to earn some money, you should go out and sell, these lawns that need to be mowed. And so my youngest, Elijah, who's been on the podcast before, he's excited to go door to door and sell, because he'll get $5 for every sale he gets. And
big money, man.
My other son, Nate, he's a really hard worker. He's very detail oriented and stuff. And so there's a good pairing there. I said, Nate, it doesn't matter how good you can mow the lawn. You might be the best lawn mower in the entire city, but if no one knows you exist, it won't matter.
That's it.
And so it's kind of fun. They're both absorbing this information, I hope, because I know they both want to earn money. Elijah wants to save up for a drum set, and electronic drum set. He saw it at Dietz the other day, and I know Nate, he just wants to earn money. He's just one of those guys who just wants to earn money. Doesn't care what he does as long as he earns money.
Yeah.
And this lawn mowing business is a good idea for them, but I'm trying to teach them about sales, about how to get more clients and how this works. And I'm talking to a 8th grader and a 4th grader. It's got me thinking about myself and how I do sales and how Skip does sales and how we approach
You're just
clients
assuming
and like
Skip
we
does
come up with a
sales.
great product, come up with a great product, and we keep building a great product, but no one knows about it. We're failing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So that brings in a little bit of marketing and sales as well. Like, what's more important, marketing or sales?
Ooh. I see. I've had such strong experience and seen such great sales processes in my experience. I tend to lean towards the sales side because to me sales is relationships. Marketing is pretty cool stuff, and you need it because they lead to the relationships. So I don't know, is that the same chicken and egg? I don't know.
For me, I look at it as marketing is the suit that a salesperson wears. You know, a salesperson can walk in, kind of like right now. If you're watching the video series, I'm wearing my Radio Creighton University shirt, and I'm heading to work out soon. And the person next to me could be wearing a nice 3-piece suit that's tailored to them. Which one are you going to listen to?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. You know, in some situations, if you're in a gym, do you want to listen to the person in a 3-piece suit? No. You want to listen to the person in the ratty old gear who's obviously been in that gym a billion times and knows what they're doing. But if you're in a business situation, who do you want to listen to? The guy in a t-shirt or the guy in a suit? Again, it depends. Is that person in a t-shirt Steve Jobs, or is
That'd be a
is
sweater,
it
but
Adam
yeah.
Walton? You know, and so selling yourself becomes really important, but marketing can help people believe who you are and what you have to say. So if I come to your doorstep, use my son as an example. If I come to your doorstep and I'm a really great lawnmower and he does a great job, he's all electric, he tells you everything, but the kid looks like he's creepy. He's dressed all in leather and has a set of lockpicks off to his side. You
Yeah.
might not want to hire that kid.
Yeah.
And versus the kid who comes up in a nice polo shirt and has his logo that he's thought out on it and has a way for you to pay online in a secure way and verified payment, that is different
Yep.
because now that's a trust thing, but that's all marketing. If the
That's
salesperson
true.
has those marketing collateral to work with, if you have a really great person who is really good at what they do and they look like they know what they're talking about, then you've got a win-win. So in my opinion, like sales is still more important than marketing. A good salesperson can come dressed in a chicken suit and sell you a Porsche.
Yep.
You
They
know,
can.
but
I
your
I have
talent has to go up
yes.
with the level with the lack of marketing collateral.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great way to test out your salespeople. It's like throw them out there with no marketing collateral and see what they do.
Yeah. Those again, long experience, and there are several salespeople that I've worked with who were the proverbial, could sell, refrigerators to Eskimos. They just had that ability, and I've always been impressed with that. And then I guess being impressed with that and understanding the technical skill set, maybe to color in a little bit more detail. Obviously I've got the technical background and that's where I come from, and I can appreciate that. And the sales, Adam, you've heard me, I call it rat's blood and chicken bones. All right,
Yep.
it's the voodoo that they do, and I don't really understand it. But I do know that if an organization is not growing, it's dying. And
Yes.
if without the sales organization to grow, it's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't really matter how good your technical team is going to be. They can be literally perfect, and life is still going to drive your business under without that continued growth. That's just the way things are. So we have to prioritize, and it doesn't mean we don't forget about engineering. Don't get me wrong, but we do have to prioritize sales versus engineering if we're looking to make decisions. Which one's more important? We can only do one sort of deal. If we're trying to push for a new sales person versus a new engineer. We need both, and we only have money for one. Which one would you do? I would go with sales every time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of MSPs, we see it all the time at Managed Service Platform where somebody calls us up and they want to be more efficient. They want to lower their overhead and they want to, you know, automate as many things as possible. And that's great. Lean manufacturing has its place. Lean methodologies have their place. And yes, you do need to be efficient operationally. But when that's the only thing you focus on is servicing clients and being better at servicing clients, you're going about it the wrong way. You need to prioritize sales. How am I going to sell this product? What product am I going to sell? And what's my price point going to be? Focus on that and then let your engineering teams kind of catch up in the background. But you have to like align this. It's not an either or. It's not a chicken or egg. It's a chicken and egg. But you
There you go.
have to
Yep.
have the sales first, and the sales have to align with what your delivery model is. So you can sit there and we have these MSPs who come in like, oh, I need to automate my conversations. Okay, so you're
Mhm.
removing all sales
Oh,
opportunities. Huh?
careful, careful. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
you're gonna you're gonna you're gonna remove all sales opportunities. You are so streamlined, and you know your clients so well. You know exactly what they want to hear, so they don't need to talk to a human. Awesome. Can you please write a book for me? Because I would love to read that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't realize what they're asking, but they want to have their QBRs automated. They want to have their client conversations automated so they don't have to hire more people, which keeps their costs down, which allows them to make more profit. And guess what? Every MSP I see do that, they burn unless they're a major conglomerate, which we have some, and even they know they have a team dedicated to account management and are making sure that that they understand their clients' needs. But we watch companies focus on operations and focus on service delivery to the point of death. Yeah, they keep, like my son Nate, he is learning how to be a better at mowing lawns, how to be faster. Maybe he needs a wider lawnmower. He's moved to a 26 to a 33-inch lawnmower, and he's going to be faster. But he's only got one client. But he can mow
Yeah.
that person's lawn in a
Yep.
quarter. He just shaved 25% off of his mow time by upgrading his lawnmower.
Yep.
He still only has one client. He needs 20 to fill up his schedule so that he can be more efficient. Then he needs to look at growth. Okay, how do I grow more? I need more personnel so I can take on 20 more clients. Here's my price point for those 20 clients. And you can start solving those problems. But again, you need the sales first. You need that to come out there so you can drive your operational efficiency with what is working. And your salespeople can say, hey, here's what people are buying. Here's what people are interested in. Can we create a product around that? And you can't just have your salespeople making things up on the spot. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah. No. No.
That's the other extreme where you start doing poorly, where old Gil's going to sell anything. You know, you want to have a process where your salesperson says, I keep hearing this from clients. Is there an opportunity for us to do this? And you talk to the engineers, and engineers say, we don't have much time to deliver that. If we hired another person, we definitely could. And then it's on the business owners to look at those two people and say, okay, we can afford to hire another person to
Right.
try this out and see where it'll go.
Invest in some resources.
And that
Yeah.
is the conversation you want to have. And people try to oversimplify it by saying, oh, I need to do sales, or I need to do engineering. Oh, I need to be more efficiently operational, or I need to sell more. And there's this lack of communication because we as engineers just don't like to talk to each other, evidently. We're not strong in communication.
Yeah.
Again, sales, you need to
Yeah.
be able to sell your ideas to your internal teams as well as to your customers. And so sales versus engineering, you got to have both, but sales is definitely the priority,
It is.
and splashing some marketing there. So,
Well, now let me. So I've said sales is more important than engineering, but so before all my engineering cohorts rally against me, let me kind of try to redeem myself a little bit. The real superstar in an IT organization. All right. I mean the real superstar in an IT organization is the engineer who can sell.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. And I'm talking about you, Dory Thompson, if you ever listen to this. All right. It's that amazing ability of this top tier engineer who really does understand and can actually do all the technical work. But then you put them in a room with the clients and they begin, it's a sales process, but they're not really selling. I mean, they're really diving into what the client needs, and they're really understanding the challenges that they're facing, or the goals that they're trying to track down, and then they begin to position technology solutions to meet those. Rather than walking in and say, "Hey, I'm going to sell this product," they walk in and go, "Hey, what are your problems? And I'll figure out a product to sell you." All right, so a little bit of a reverse deal, and those guys are truly phenomenal. You can build organizations around those guys. You can do a lot of really great things with that engineer who can sell. And to further clarify and maybe redeem my flag a little bit here, the sales guy who is also technical is great. They really are, but they're not going to be as good as the engineer that can sell.
Yeah, and to go back to Paul Greene's article here, you'll struggle to grow your MSP when your main daily activity is servicing clients, and that's that engineering mindset. Again, Paul Greene with MSP marketing, he is talking through like when you start focusing on engineering only, when you are focusing on just that delivery model, you're stopping working on the business. So what I was talking about earlier when I said you need to marry all this together, when you need to have that guru engineer who understands sales walk in and see an opportunity and say, "Hey, let me put together a package for you that makes sense." Now he's not inventing a new product. He's not saying, "Oh yeah, we'll sell you Barracuda," even though you have no like
Yeah,
supply
yeah.
chain on that. That's what I was talking about earlier. But when I say like, "Hey, you know what? It looks like you're having problems with connectivity. Here is the solution I propose. Let me take that back to the service and delivery team and see how much this will cost. We'll get you a proposal out here in the next week." And you get that soft proposal going. And that is the cream right there. But in order to get there, you have to work on your business to create those opportunities. So you have this operational efficiency that you're constantly working on, but you've got to work on the business to say, "Hey, how are you creating those conversations so that you can have those big ticket sales because you're aligning with your customers?" And how do you put all your pieces together? Is your MSP sitting in a place where it's just a bunch of puzzle pieces in a box, and every once in a while you get two of them to fit together and it feels really good? Or
Yeah,
are you spending your
yeah.
time with that puzzle, putting the pieces together and looking at the bigger picture, saying, "Okay, here's how everything fits together. Now let me show my team how it fits together so that when they're on site with a client, they can say, oh, here's a solution to a business problem so that we can come up with a better situation." That is great sales that is delivered because you worked on your business. And yeah, like so, yeah, I'll go ahead and post this article in the blog this time around. So
Oh, yeah.
click on it, read it. It is fantastic because he hits the nail on the head. And I was really excited when I read it because I was like, man, we talk about this all the time. But we've never talked about it on the podcast. So guess what our next podcast episode is going to be? So we kind of
There you
interjected
go.
this in here. And we want you all to grow. We want you guys to focus on growing your MSP. And you won't do that by just being better engineers.
Yeah. Well, and
You'll
and let
do
me
that by working on your MSP.
yes, and let me offer this encouragement out there to the technical teams. I know there tends to be a little bit of friction sometimes between the sales organization and the operations guys. Uh, but understand that you can't have a successful business without both of these components. All right, they
Mhm.
do have to both exist. Um, But if we do need to focus a little bit more on sales, then the operational, the technical team, they should be giving some thought to really supporting those sales guys
Yes.
and helping them rather than being so adversarial sometimes. Go ahead and help them, because while that sales team is going to help you grow your organization, the engineering team is the one that's going to make it profitable.
Yeah, maybe it's
So,
something we need to have for a
you
podcast
know,
episode is talk about how to talk to your sales people. You know, instead of saying, "Why did you sell that? You overpromised
what,
there. I'll never get that done." Say like, "Hey,
yeah.
you know, I appreciate you for trying to get after the ball there. In the future, can you give me some lead time or talk to me before you pitch me doing an overnight workshop with a client?"
Yeah. Yeah. Setting
You know,
expectations. Setting
be
expectations.
buddies with your salespeople. They're
Yeah.
personable. Yes, they are after the cash. They are after this. They want to earn a lot of money. They want to be successful. They want to sell the product. But if you can craft and sell your services as an engineer in a way that your salesperson can understand, maybe you've got things that you really like to work on. Push that for the sales guy. Like, hey, man, this guy Skip, he loves working on Cisco firewalls. He is really
Oh my
good at it,
God.
and
Oh
he's
my
very fast, and we
God.
can get this done in an hour if we need to.
Yeah.
And so aligning the two, aligning the engineer with the sales is going to make sales go up. And I tell this all the time to people is that when you're in with a client and you see an opportunity you to solve a business problem, that's when you make a sale. So if you can teach your
Mhm.
salespeople engineering items so they can identify those technological gaps, then they'll sell. They're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
they don't have a
absolutely.
blah.
Yeah. Now the sales
Now,
guys
it's not
don't
just that
need to
there's a gap
understand.
there, but now
Yeah.
they have a gap that they can explain to their client. Like, you don't have a smart host for your email. Aren't you tired of getting all those spam messages every day?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
can make those go away.
That's it. Yeah, and that's what you need to focus. You don't. Your salespeople don't have to understand how to implement it. They need to understand what the benefit is once it's implemented. So make sure your sales team really understands the value. So if your engineer, what you need to center your conversations around with your sales team is the value, is the output of what this product can do, and not necessarily all the technical details. I've seen too many times engineers trying to explain to a salesperson how they're going to install this and why it's going to take so long. All right, it sometimes, from the sales perspective, looking at the engineering perspective, I imagine there's a few sales guys that look at us and go, "Yeah, that's just rat's blood and chicken bones." And they don't get it either, all right, and that's okay. We've got to be confident in our own skill sets
As
and
long as those
confident in
rat
what we do there.
bloods and chicken bones are producing, I don't care.
That's it. That's all we got to do. And so, don't try to over educate your sales team. Just support them. Provide them the information they need to know.
Have a conversation with them and
Yep.
help educate them. Foster that relationship over time. Work on that relationship. And so you'll hear this all the time. Work on your business, not just in your business.
Hmm.
And that is a catchphrase for a reason. We want people to understand this, that working on your business means looking at the puzzle pieces, fitting them together and seeing the bigger picture and then showing your staff how does it all fit together. So that when they are in front of a client, they can say, hey, you guys belong in this part of the puzzle. This is where we can help you most. And this is where the opportunity for your business is. Not an opportunity for sales necessarily, but when you meet the sales, it meets in a business objective. When you solve a business problem with a sales opportunity, that's when you almost guarantee a sale. When I can make your day easier with a technology stack that we provide, that's when everybody wins.
That's
And
it.
that's what a salesperson needs to do. So what's more important, sales or engineering? Sorry, people. It's sales.
Sorry. Yeah.
Always and forever. You have to sell. And whether or not you have a single client that's a big client that you're guaranteed, you still have to sell yourself to them or somebody else will. You have to work on your business and how things are fitting together so you know what to sell and then so that your salespeople can identify appropriate opportunities. Work on this stuff. Don't just be more efficient at delivering, be better at selling, and everything else will kind of resolve itself.
That's it.
Any final words, Skip?
No, that's it. I think
Uh,
it pains me a little bit to say it, but I think you have to just get things in order to get things done.
Definitely. All right. We'll see everybody next week.
See ya.